Now ideally our pike push-up would look like this. We'd float up and then we'd push up to handstand and be able to come back down with control. But in reality, most people need to learn the basics first before they start working the cool stuff. We need to make sure that your pike push-up is strong enough and done in a way that carries over eventually to the handstand push-ups. And that's what we're going to go through today. I'm going to teach you how to get to the level where you've got the foundation so you can start working towards the progressions like the handstand push-ups. But let's first start with the basics. The base is everything. Where we're talking about the beginner level or the advanced level, the hands, the focal point and the shoulders create the base. So I've got external rotation, I've turned the hands out and I'm just going to take my head down to this position. See there, it's created a triangle. This is super important. So I recommend you video from the side, get into a position like this and just see if you can get to there. So forehead to the floor, elbows on top of hands, hips nice and high, and then come back down again. I've got light weight on the forehead, not lots of weight, light weight. Hands are taking all the weight, shoulders are taking all the weight. Now where the feet are is going to be a little bit different for everyone depending on limb length and flexibility, but you want to feel that it's not a forced position. Then once we're in that position, I'm just going to push out to my start position for the pike push-up and ideally go back again. Now if this is impossible, we need to work first on push-up variations to make sure that we can do this with control. That top position is nice and strong there. This bottom position is nice and strong and I can go between the two. If I can't do that, I'm just going to work on slow eccentrics coming down. Back up on the knees and then eventually full repetitions there. 5 reps minimum before we start working the pike push-up progression. But do that assessment to test that. So go into that start position, come back up, see if you can come back down with control. While you're building that strength with those standard push-ups, dips are also fantastic. Now this setup is not great. These bars are way too wide for me. So ideally you're going to use adjustable bars for the dips. But same thing, we want to have a strong top position. We want to have a strong bottom position, so be able to hold those two positions. Then we can work the eccentrics, so going from this top position to the bottom position, hold, and then jump back up again. And you could use band assist, but then we want to go working that full movement, so you could do partial range to a full eccentric and then eventually the full repetitions. This is going to help you big time in terms of the upper body strength required to do the pike push-ups and then build towards handstand push-ups. Now any strength work is good, so dumbbells, bench press, that type of thing, but the reason I suggest that you use dips and push-ups to build the pike push-ups to eventually go into the handstand push-ups is that it's what's called a closed chain movement. You can't move the earth, you can only move your body up and down. So the hands are staying still, the body is moving. With a bench press or dumbbell press, your body is staying still and you're moving your arms, you're moving your hands. So that's an open chain movement. So where possible, try and be specific in terms of your strength training and you should get a better carryover to the skill you're eventually working towards. So with the pike push-ups, eccentrics, make sure that they're super, super clean. So from this top position, we're going to take the shoulders forwards, slowly come down, elbows down, top of the hands. I create that triangle there. If I can't get back out of that, back up, eccentric again, pause at the bottom. Over time, you'll be able to come back up again if you can't. And an in-between is a good partial range, so only going down a little bit. You could go to a target like a yoga block, slowly make your movement deeper and deeper, but make sure you're also doing those slow eccentrics with a hold and back out. Then as soon as you can get like 3 to 5 repetitions of those that feel nice and strong, we can up the challenge by increasing the height of the legs, increasing the amount of load in the hands. From here, notice the knees are bent, because if not, you're going to struggle from a mobility point of view. Shoulders come forwards, come down, elbows on top, back again. So I'm creating that same triangle. Just now, everything's going up more on top of the base. Again, 3 to 5 reps. And what I highly recommend you start to work then is the foot elevated pike push-up. So with this one, we want to have the standard pike push-up set up. Then I'm going to bring one foot to the middle, the other foot up in the air. Take the shoulders forwards, create that triangle again. But now, ideally, the torso is in line with that leg, so it's more like the bottom of the standard handstand push-up. So we're mimicking that position. Now mobility, limb length, strength and everything is going to make a difference on your particular setup, but it should feel like all the weight is in the hands, the shoulders, and you're in full control, and you've definitely got that head coming in and out. I can't get across how important that triangle is, because when you do go into your handstand push-up variations, look, there's the triangle again, shoulders closing, shoulders opening at the top. Super important. We want that to carry over from those beginner levels through to the intermediate to the advanced. Shoulders forwards and back, creating the triangle. Then as soon as possible, get yourself on the wall, start working towards those handstand push-up progressions, chest to wall, back to wall, crow to handstand. If you look at them, they're all very much the same. Look, triangle, handstand push-up position, very, very similar. Teaching the body to balance on top of the hands, shift the weight forwards and backwards. Now you'll find tutorials for all of those in my program, in my online course. Links all down in the description. The online course takes you from that beginner pike push-up progressions all the way through to a standard freestanding handstand push-up, then onto the deficit handstand push-up, and eventually the 90-degree handstand push-up. You can take a picture of this QR code or links down in the description. I'll speak to you guys in the next one.